There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so we can all move on with our lives. I'm Claire Stevens and I'm joined
We can't ever get that
Every
right.
week I say I'm joined by, but you go to interrupt me. I get too excited. Who are you? Jessie Stevens. Great. And Jessie, do you have a lazy girl story for us?
I do.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
It's from Kira, and I just think it's so relatable. In fact, I had this exact thing happen recently.
Lovely.
And I didn't know that other people did it. And should we say it? Because it could be, if you're a criminal listening, block your ears. Oh. Because we don't want criminals to know about some lazy girl behaviours because it makes us easy to exploit.
Easy targets. Okay.
Easy
I
targets.
thought you were going to say to give them ideas. Well, no, we'll give them
it sort
ideas.
of gives criminals ideas. So this is like a trigger warning for criminals. Stop it.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
firstly,
listen.
stop it. And secondly, don't listen to this.
And how did you get this in prison?
yes.
Come on. Who?
No, because they might be out of prison. Being a criminal isn't very lazy. Okay, so this is the story. She lost her bank card on a night out and it didn't get handed in, right? Instead of cancelling my card and getting a replacement, because I didn't want to have to change my card details on anything,
That's annoying.
instead I just check my bank account whenever I log in to make sure there's no weird activity that isn't me, instead of just cancelling it and getting a new one.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
It'll eventually expire and they'll just send me a new one.
Yeah.
I love this so much because it happened to me the other week when I lost my wallet and I started making it everyone's problem.
Oh, you were so annoying about your
I
wallet.
said, I've lost my wallet.
Every announcement in the office, I've lost my wallet.
I've lost it. Please help me find it. And I thought, it'll get handed in. And the way that Murphy's Law, which has been entered into this courtroom before, works is that the second I cancel anything, it'll show up. And I don't have time for all that back and forth. So I'll leave it because who would steal? Think
Come
about
on.
it.
Yeah.
Who would steal? No one. If they found my wallet, it's got my driver's license on it.
And so they would obviously...
They would obviously just hand it in. And
To
so I
where?
waited
Unsure.
to my address, which actually is different to the address on my license, which is another thing I should do. But eventually I found it. I'd gone and got a salad and I'd left it at the salad shop for 2-3 weeks. And they were like, what have you been doing? I was like, I didn't really need my wallet, but it was stressing me out.
Yeah.
But I didn't cancel anything.
Lovely. Because, no, cancelling is annoying.
Yeah.
Because then as well, when it's in all your accounts, like I've got, actually, this is very lazy girl. I hope the Commonwealth Bank isn't listening. So I had a card that I went through. I'm going to be a good financial girl.
Yeah.
And I went through and I went, what's that? What's that charge? That is fraudulent
Oh, we've
activity.
all done that. And
I
then
went,
next thing we went, oh no, that's just my...
no. I went, that's fraudulent. So I went, no, I'm being a big girl. Cancel the card. Throw it all out. Investigation. Bank. Come on. Big investigation here. Cards cancelled. All of that. It was charges from my Kindle. I was buying books. Anyway, but the problem was that all my subscriptions, like go to log into Netflix, your payment method. Well, I don't know where my wallet is to enter new details.
Exactly right.
Just ask the bank. They'll help you.
They'll help. Come on.
Very stressful. Jessie, today we're talking about Jennifer Lawrence.
My name's Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm going undercover on the internet.
I feel like I'm gonna die.
I know. I get it.
We get there, and I'm like, where's the pizza?
Jennifer Schrader Lawrence is an actress who was the world's highest paid actress in 2015 and 2016. At 14, she was on holidays in New York City and was spotted by a talent scout. We don't like these stories.
These stories.
Because when we were 14, people stopped in the street and said, ah!
When I was 14, I was stopped by someone who said, do you want to be a hair model?
Natural health and beauty is important for me and also for my hair.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, because he had really long
I had
hair.
really long hair. And they said, do you want to be a hair model? And I said, what will it entail? And they said, us cutting and dyeing it. And I went, no, I don't really want to do that. And then I didn't. But I was scouted as a model.
No, it's because you had never dyed it and it was very long. But I'm saying that because I was with you
Yeah.
at the time.
And they weren't going to involve the face or the body in the pictures.
But I remember feeling really
But
sad.
I was scouted and you weren't because you
No,
were there. They
yeah.
didn't ask. They were like, "Ooh."
There, they went, oh, no, sorry, your hair's disgusting. No, that girl's hair.
Yeah.
It was quite offensive. Jessie, she had a guest role on Medium, and I had forgotten about Medium.
Medium was one of my favourite
Yes.
shows
Yeah.
ever.
And for someone like me, someone uniquely sensitive, all that emotion floating around out there can be a powerful thing. I was way too young to understand Watergate. But even so, I was so filled with emotions that made no sense to me. And that's the way it's been my whole life. Whatever the world is feeling, it crashes over me like a tidal wave. I just have to ride it out.
Alison Dubois.
Yeah. Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
Being a medium.
Based on a true story.
We love psychics.
I might go and watch that from the beginning. There
Yeah.
are a lot of seasons of that.
That
What did
was-
Jennifer Lawrence play?
I don't know, but I just know she had a guest role on it
Okay.
quite early on because after New York, her mum wanted her to be a model and Jennifer Lawrence was like, no, I'm going to be an actress. So she went to LA, started acting.
Great.
She has gone on to star in X-Men, Hunger Games, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, Passengers, Don't Look Up, etc., etc. What's fascinating about Jennifer Lawrence is she's experienced a very common problem for women in Hollywood. And it's when you fly too close to the sun. You're built
big,
up.
Big boots,
Yes.
bigger boots.
Yes. You're universally loved. And then everybody inevitably goes, she's annoying.
No, they go, you're overexposed.
Cancel that professional woman.
They put you everywhere and then they go, you're everywhere and you're annoying people.
Yes. Only women are annoying like that. I read an article in BuzzFeed that described that she was the ultimate cool girl in terms of eating pizza and drinking beer and falling over and being everything that men love. But then it's like the culture evolved and that stereotype turned into the pick-me girl. Jessie, can you describe what a pick-me girl is?
I hate this.
Me too.
A pick-me girl is someone whose all their behaviour is designed around basically being picked by a man. So it's like, what does a male fantasy look like? They love the idea. It's also that bit from Gone Girl where they describe the cool girl.
Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is game. Cool girl is fun. Cool girl never gets angry at her man. She only smiles in a chagrin-loving manner and then presents her mouth for fucking.
And it's she eats hot dogs and never puts on any weight and drinks beer.
And she doesn't want anything.
And she doesn't
from
want
a
anything.
man.
But the idea is that it's completely performative and not real.
The thing I hate about both terms is that it assumes that everything women ever do is for the male gaze.
Is to pander to men.
You're welcome.
Yes.
So they say if a woman says she's not a feminist, she's doing that
Yeah.
to be a pick-me girl.
And like a woman has the right to like a hot dog. I love hot dogs and they don't have them enough in Australia. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No.
I've not had a frankfurt. A frankfurt in a white roll with a bit of sauce is a great meal,
Okay.
but I haven't had one in a while.
Okay, here's a question. Is a hot dog a frankfurt without the skin? I don't know.
Whatever
No.
happened to frankfurts? Every party I
No,
went
Mum
to.
had them recently.
Really?
She did at home. She did.
Claire, what is a frankfurt made out of?
No one wants to know. It's like sausages. You're
It's
better
not
off.
good.
You're better off not knowing. But the point
But I
is,
genuinely like a frankfurt.
sometimes you're allowed to eat
a frankfurt and you're not being pick-me.
No.
You just like nondescript meat.
Exactly. But those terms do make me mad because they're terms only for women that always assumes their motivations. And the standards are just so high for women where you have to be effortlessly cool and appealing without any agenda.
Yeah.
You can't be doing it for any gain. Here are some quotes from an article about Jennifer Lawrence in 2016 that I think really sum up how the tide had turned. Her so-called funny, feminist and body-positive quotes circulate the internet, but I'd much rather focus on her ignorant, misogynistic and body-shaming comments.
What she said.
To put it simply, how much longer are we going to endure Lawrence's offensive and ignorant comments? When will her reign as Hollywood's it girl end? Sure, her comments aren't intentionally malicious, but she needs to choose her words wisely.
Sure, she's never said anything misogynistic, but that doesn't mean she's not a slut. What are you talking about?
Her appeal simply escapes me, and she most certainly needs to stop with the dorky, self-deprecating anecdotes. She is not goals and never will be at this rate. It got published on the internet.
What? But what did she say? She never said anything.
I'm going to get into it.
Okay.
But I'm just entering the vibe.
Okay.
She took a break from Hollywood, really winding down her roles between 2017 and 2019, where she did like 3 movies, before completely disappearing for 2 years. Now she's back, but in a very different way. Jessie, my structure for today is as follows. The fall times 2.
Did she fall twice?
Mm.
Did she get back up in between, or did she fall and then kind of...
It was a year apart.
Okay.
Calling out a reporter at the Golden Globes, being culturally disrespectful, and any comment she's literally ever made. That's the last point.
Amazing.
Jessie, the fall times 2. In 2013, Jennifer Lawrence won Best Actress at the Oscars for Silver Linings Playbook.
I remember that.
She gets up to accept the award, and as she makes her way to the stage, she falls over on the stairs. She trips over her own feet.
Just probably think about Frankfurt's.
Yeah. She's wearing a mermaid-style gown, like it's real. There's a lot of volume at the bottom. And to me, it looks natural. Like it would be quite hard to walk in that, not to mention upstairs. The clip went viral and everyone loved Jennifer Lawrence for stacking it during one of the most important moments of her career. Everyone said, hashtag hard relate, hashtag
We
that's
love
my
a
girl.
woman falling over.
We do. It's, you know, we've all stacked it.
Yeah, because it says I'm a fool. I'm an absolute fool.
And it's like, I fall in my activewear and my runners.
Yeah, I as someone who falls really often, I relate. But my issue is that when I fall, I seriously hurt myself. And with Jennifer, I kind of go, ooh. Because because Jennifer Lawrence, I worry we're going to
Snapped a tibia.
snapped a tibia, but she hadn't. She'd fallen in quite a graceful, awkward,
Up
cute
the
way.
stairs. Yep.
Yeah, she'd fallen, up the stairs. She was fine.
1 year later, she's again at the Oscars.
She didn't fall again.
She's on the red carpet, waving at fans, and she stacks it again. This time
about this.
Okay, well, you're the internet in this situation. It's a different way, like she's twisted her ankle. So she's walking.
Oh, did she actually hurt herself? I'd want to get my balance tested at that stage.
Well, she's walking and she's waving, and as she's got her arm up like that, she falls and has to actually put her arms on the person in front of her.
Does it look genuine to you?
To me, yes.
Okay.
To me, both the falls look
I've
genuine.
fallen over twice in a year.
Well, she is kind of laughing as she does it. They clearly have to fix her dress and her necklace. There's a few people fussing over her. I think she looks embarrassed.
And does anyone ever really want to fall?
Well, people had simply had enough. Jessie, I want you to read these 2 tweets.
Jennifer Lawrence just tripped on the red carpet. Perfect, her publicist whispers. Okay. Of course, the awkward, clumsy and relatable Jennifer Lawrence fell over. God forbid that the attention isn't on her for 5 seconds. Is falling over attention-seeking? Interesting theory.
Another tweet read, Jennifer Lawrence's publicity team is like, don't forget to trip and look quirky if more attention is being paid to Lupita than you. And that was referring to first-time Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o.
Every time I've fallen, it's a way of detracting from others. I fell recently on an escalator. You know those ones that don't have steps, they're just slippery? They're just a ramp?
A ramp, yeah.
Oh, I hate them. And it was raining and I slipped onto my bottom. And I dropped my water bottle and it went everywhere. And it was so wet. And I did it to pull focus.
Because what everyone wants is look at me.
Look at me.
In
I've
this
hurt
undignified moment.
Yeah, because when I got up, my bottom was wet from the water on the thing.
Oh. I don't think anyone's saying you did that for attention. It was clear that within 1 year, between the first time Jennifer Lawrence did it and the second time she did it, the public had turned. She was accused of being calculated, playing up to the cameras, creating a viral moment just for publicity. Critics began questioning whether she was actually performing all of it. the whole
Imagine if
shtick.
she genuinely had like a balance issue. Like maybe she has really bad vertigo and she's like, I actually have an illness.
And
I need to get my inner ear crystal sorted. And that's why I keep falling in public places. Also, look at my shoes because she's probably wearing some silly shoes.
And very big dresses.
Yeah.
People online said they were over it and she was trying way too hard to be relatable. This was also the time that those pages on Tumblr were becoming really popular called Your Fave is Problematic.
Oh, yeah.
So literally...
The advent of cancel culture.
Yes. And we'll get to how a general feeling of Jennifer Lawrence trying too hard ended up with a very harsh blow to her reputation. But those two falls and the different reactions to it was sort of a bit of foreshadowing.
Okay.
Jessie, calling out a reporter at the Golden Globes. In 2016, a 23-second clip from the Golden Globes press room went viral. The headlines were basically that Jennifer Lawrence, in this clip, had an outburst, she'd slammed a journalist, and she'd called him out.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to play it to you, and I want to know what you think.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself for the Oscars
You can't live your
night?
whole life behind your phone, bro.
Huh?
You're just not gonna. We can't do that. You gotta live in the now.
Sorry.
You know?
How do you see yourself for the Oscar night? And how was
We're at the
working-
Golden Globes. If you put your phone down, you'd know that.
And how was working with Edgar Ramirez?
Working with Edgar was wonderful. He is so sweet. He's great, a terrific actor.
What's hard about that clip, what I will say about that clip, is that we can see her, we can't see him. So I get the sense that if I saw him, I would understand more where she's coming from, perhaps. I don't love the tone or the calling out reporters thing. I think everyone's doing their best. But I feel as though there's more to the story.
I think what makes it uncomfortable is that the reporter asking the question clearly has English as a second language and it feels a bit dismissive. But the part of this that gets missed is that he then does ask her his question and is basically asking what it was like working with her co-star, and she gives a genuine answer. She gives a good answer. And as a journalist who's been in those situations, that's what you want. You just want to make sure you've got an answer.
You also know that when something starts to go wrong and when someone calls you out and things start to go off track, you accidentally call the Golden Globes Oscars. Like we've all been there.
We've done it.
Have you seen recently, you know how a little while ago Aretha Franklin died?
Yeah.
You know how a little while ago Tina Turner died?
Yeah.
Did you see Prue McSween's tweet?
No.
Okay, she tweeted, Tina Turner, so sad, rest in peace, RESPECT.
Okay. Yep.
That is an Aretha Franklin song. That is a different song. Okay, what she did is she panicked.
Yeah.
And she's posted, and I thought, we've all been there. We've said something silly as a journalist, and we've made all journalists look silly, and that's why we get that reputation.
Yes.
And that's what that journalist has done. I would also call I didn't know Golden Globes, Oscars, Emmys.
Same thing.
Tonys, same thing.
Jess, she had been asked some pretty ridiculous questions earlier at the same press conference, like, who is your least favourite Real Housewife? And
That's a great question.
If you had an extra body part, what would it be?
Another leg, so I don't fall over so much. So I'm like a stool.
A lot of the responses called her... Why have you thought about that? A lot of the responses called her rude and a mean girl, and there's just no male equivalent for those sorts of terms.
There's not, but then when you're in that situation and you're an actress or something, you're in a position of power, right, over those journalists. Do we have to speak to them more politely? I don't know.
Well, that was kind of the vibe. So here are some of the tweets about it. Can you read those first two?
I hate it when girls say shit like bro. It's not very ladylike or attractive. That's helpful. Rude bitch, because English was the second language of the reporter and was reading from phone. Do we reckon that's what he was doing, that he was just reading his question from his phone?
Well, that's what everyone
fine.
assumed.
Yeah.
That he's asked a question and she's called him out for being on his phone.
Yeah.
Jess, here are a series of tweets from someone who was actually in the room. This guy, Chris Tronson, says, I was in the press room with Jennifer Lawrence. She did not bully that reporter. He wasn't reading questions off of his phone. The reporter was asking a question, but either filming or taking pictures off his phone while talking to Jennifer Lawrence. Then he asked about the Oscars when we were at the Golden Globes. Jennifer Lawrence wasn't rude at all. She just wanted him to be present. Plus, everyone in the press room was laughing. It was lighthearted.
Interesting.
We love some context.
We do love some context. I don't know. I always get defensive when people are like, get off your phone, because it's like, no.
And it's like, it's not my fault that
I'm addicted to my phone.
The big tech companies have manipulated me and that I'm so easily
and that I have an addiction.
I'm so easy to manipulate.
It's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sick.
Yeah.
I have a real illness that I'm trying to grapple with.
Yeah. I don't want to be on my phone, but
No.
I will be, and I'll waste my life.
And I feel ashamed, and I don't like it when I get called out.
Sometimes when I cross the road and I'm looking at my phone and you get
someone's
honked and you're like, well,
I'm addicted.
and if I get hit, I get hit. It's what I've signed up to. This was a massive turning point for people seeing Jennifer Lawrence as rude and mean rather than just annoying.
We love it when we think we can see through someone and we're like, they're your true colours.
You showed them.
You're actually not. It's classic Ellen moment.
Being culturally disrespectful. At the end of 2016, so at the end of that year where she was rude to
Because
the-
I planted the seeds because English was his second language. So it was sort of like, does the white blonde lady
hate everyone.
hate everyone
Yeah.
who isn't white and blonde?
Yeah. So end of that year, she is on Graham Norton. And she told a story about what had happened when she was filming one of the Hunger Games movies in Hawaii.
We were filming in Hawaii, and there were sacred rocks. They were sacred, and you're not supposed to sit on them because you're not supposed to expose your genitalia to them. Oh my God, they were so good for butt itching. One rock that I was butt scratching on ended up coming loose. It was a giant boulder, and it rolled down this mountain and almost killed our sound guy. And like his whole station got destroyed. It was like it was a huge dramatic deal. And all the Hawaiians were like, "Oh my God, it's the curse!" And I'm in the corner like going, "I'm your curse."
A Hawaiian cultural expert told people.
Yeah, people were like, get our Hawaiian cultural expert on speed dial because today we care about Hawaiian culture. We didn't yesterday and we will not tomorrow.
And will be offensive most days.
Yes, but today this is what we care about is sacred sites here at People.
So this cultural expert said it's an ancient Hawaiian living site and there are several hundred burial caves right in that area. The caves contain the bones of our ancestors, and not just any ancestors. These were the astronomers, the navigators, the doctors of the time. They were the Einsteins of Hawaiian culture, and they were filming just a few yards away. So this cultural expert said, I'm the one who did the cultural briefing on set.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I told her and the whole production staff not to sit on the rocks. I did kind of scold everyone in the area to be more careful. I actually had them take the rock and put it back up the hill. We were pretty serious about it, but they seemed to think it was funny.
Oh, I don't like that.
I know. So Lawrence was very much called out for being culturally disrespectful. One tweet labelled it the whitest story ever told, as in her sitting on Graham Norton and laughing about it was a white thing to do. Here were some of the other responses.
Jennifer Lawrence, I literally wiped my ass with sacred symbols of Hawaii. Everyone, so quirky, so relatable. Another person has written, congratulations, Jennifer Lawrence. All of Hawaii wants to scrap you. Next time, respect land that's foreign to you. Another one says, Jennifer Lawrence saying how she scratched her ass on sacred boulders you aren't supposed to sit on in Hawaii is white people in a nutshell. That's not untrue. Why would you knowingly disrespect someone's culture and sacred artifacts and brag about it later? Shaking my head, Jennifer Lawrence is beyond cancelled. Jennifer Lawrence is bizarrely proud of the fact that she is disrespectful and inconsiderate and put her colleagues at risk of physical harm.
So people were mad.
Yes, people appeared very mad. The fact that she then told the story, if she knew that it was culturally insensitive, probably not great. I can sort of see that if you're looking for a story, nearly killing the sound guy is probably a good story. But yeah, I think we've come a long way in understanding and being respectful of Indigenous cultures.
Yes. So keep in mind she was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
She was really young and she'd been acting since she was really, really young. She apologised, but a lot of people said her apology was far too flippant. A post on her Facebook page said, "From Jen to the internet, I mean absolutely no disrespect to the Hawaiian people. I really thought that I was being self-deprecating about the fact that I was the curse, but I understand the way it was perceived was not funny, and I apologise if I offended anyone." That got called out for not being the right kind of apology.
I think that's a fine apology.
Yes. A lot of people said she kind of hadn't really apologised for being offensive. But she's not a super online person. She's not one of those celebrities who's kind of on Twitter and on Instagram.
She didn't get the memo, the blueprint.
Yeah, I don't think she got the template of how you're meant to do an apology.
Yeah.
Jessie, moving on to any comment she's literally ever made. So clearly this cultural insensitivity thing planted a seed, and then it was everything she said, did.
Yeah, because we know she's
wrong.
racist. And
Yeah.
we know she's a fake faller over us. So we've got a racist liar.
Yeah. Here's where we get to the "your fave is problematic" accusations, and we generally become hysterical.
Yeah.
Now, Jessie, Jennifer Lawrence was actually the only person to ever make a snarky comment about Lindsay Lohan. Did you know? So in 2015, on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, she made a joke at the expense of Lohan. She told Colbert about big days on set.
I don't stop working. I'm just like, because I'm a show pony. I don't have a choice. And so I just keep going, I think, until eventually my body's just like, if we don't make her barf or pass out, she won't stop. I get like Lindsay Lohan, like grade exhaustion.
Yeah.
But without any drugs or alcohol. I'm always in bed early.
And it was probably a joke written for her.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you don't know the origins of what they say on those shows. But Lohan's sister Ali tweeted, "I never breathe life into negativity, but I stand by my family. Disappointed in Jennifer Lawrence. You lost a fan." And then Lohan responded to her sister's tweet with a...
Sorry, I'm thinking about Lindsay Lohan, our cancel episode on her where she would jump on Twitter and be like, "Lady Gaga, do you want to
collab?
You want to collab?" And it's like,
No.
she's doing that movie with Bradley Cooper. She doesn't have time.
Yeah, she shared a Maya Angelou quote.
Oh.
And then she said, "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still I rise." And then she said, "Thank you, sister. Maybe who you're referring to should learn to support others like hashtag Maya Angelou." And I don't know, I just...
Feels dramatic.
Lindsay,
is what you're saying.
Lindsay, there are a lot of people in Hollywood saying things about you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
I don't fully understand Jennifer Lawrence's joke.
No, I think she was trying to say...
Like I'm comatose.
Like I get that tired. I'm just not into the drugs and the alcohol.
Okay.
Jessie, lying in interviews. People think sometimes when Jennifer Lawrence is trying to be relatable, she doesn't tell the complete truth. On Late Night with Seth Meyers, she told a story about getting drunk and vomiting at Madonna's 2014 Oscars after party.
I puked on his porch. And like, I was in such bad condition, and I look behind me while I'm puking, and Miley Cyrus is there, like, get it together.
That was the punchline because Cyrus was going through her party girl phase. So that's the joke. It's like the wildest person there said, "Get your shit together." But Cyrus tweeted that the incident never happened. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Jennifer Lawrence lied." And it's like all these stories are made up. Surely.
Yeah. All these stories are written or made up for. Like, she probably didn't even, like, with the Sacred Rock, that probably didn't even happen, which is even more annoying.
Like, you just say it for
lols.
laughs.
You need a ha-ha story.
On Conan O'Brien, she told a story about following John Stamos around at a party.
I was at a party, and I turned into I was a perverted guy. I was, like, following him into rooms and, like, staring at his ass, and just, I lost my mind when I met him, and I didn't want to meet him because it's not good when I meet people who I really idolize.
Yeah.
And it's just never good. And so I was avoiding him, and then my friends brought him over because my friends are jerks. And I just like started really freaking out, and he asked me if I was on mushrooms, and I was like, "No, I'm dead sober. This is just me."
When Stamos was asked about the incident, he tweeted that he was totally oblivious. So he didn't deny it. He didn't say it didn't happen. But everyone's like, he's just being nice. That definitely never happened.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is Jennifer Lawrence is like, guys, I have nothing to say in interviews.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
So I'm just going to
And just like Rob Pattinson, I'm just going to start just freestyling.
I'm going to just lie.
I'm just going to make things up for my fun, for their fun.
It's a strategy as old as time, which is exaggerating a story for comic effect.
Yeah, I do it
Okay?
often. Yeah.
I actually would not say it's a crime.
No.
The other thing she's been accused of is thinking drinking is cool.
Oh, wow.
So this is from a gossip website.
This is complicated.
Rarely an opportunity goes by that Lawrence isn't reminding the world of how much she likes booze. Because she's like, so edgy and relatable, you guys. She announced to USA Today that Budweiser is usually her drink of choice. During a Vanity Fair interview, she asked for a Corona. She announced at the 2013 Oscars that she took a shot backstage. She even took 2 shots on the red carpet at the premiere for the Hunger Games. We get it, J-Law. You drink. That stopped being edgy or interesting once you graduated high school.
Okay, so the only personality trait of Seth Rogen and James Franco is that they smoke weed.
I smoke weed all day. Could I not smoke weed? Probably. Would I just much rather smoke weed all day? Yes.
That's
the time.
it. Mm-hmm. There is a type of man in Hollywood where that is where they begin and where they end.
How about Johnny Depp and alcohol?
I poured myself a large glass of wine. I thought it necessary.
Yeah.
Has he crafted a persona around
Yeah.
drinking?
Exactly.
But no, when Jennifer Lawrence does
Has
it,
a glass of champagne at an awards ceremony.
it's annoying.
No wonder you're falling over, love. You had a shot.
Everyone's so mad. She's been accused of fat girl drag because people say she has talked a lot about being bigger than average for Hollywood and it's disingenuous.
Fat girl drag?
Yep.
Really?
It's a new term. So she said a bunch of things like,
Isn't the point everyone's too fat for Hollywood?
Yes.
Like literally everyone.
and that's what she has tried to say.
Yeah.
So she said, in Hollywood, I'm obese. I'm
Okay.
considered a fat actress. She said, I eat like a caveman. I'll be the only actress that doesn't have anorexia rumors. I'm never going to starve myself for a part. If anybody even tries to whisper the word diet, I'm like, you can go f*** yourself. The argument is that she's not big. She's tiny. And actresses who are actually plus size in Hollywood aren't allowed to make those sorts of comments, which is true. But that's not Jennifer Lawrence's fault.
Her fault, actually.
And I think this is an example of how there is no acceptable way for women in Hollywood to talk about their bodies.
Yeah, because it's like if you go to a Daily Mail article about Jennifer Lawrence, everyone will call her a fat cow.
Mm-hmm.
But she can't acknowledge that because there are people that are bigger than her, but there are people that are smaller than her, and it's exhausting.
I remember seeing headlines that she was too fat to play Katniss Everdeen in
Yes,
Hunger Games
yes.
because everyone was like, no, that character's meant to be starving.
She'd be like an athlete.
Yeah. So that's the world she's grown up in. And then when she tries to talk about that, she must shut up. Then there's one comment she made about playing Katniss Everdeen. She said Katniss was strong like a male hero with a vagina.
Mm-hmm.
She got accused of A, implying female heroes can't be strong, and B, being transphobic because she specified it was a male hero with a vagina.
Male identifying? Male. I'm trying to think how she could have made that better. I know exactly what she's trying to say.
Yes. Well, clearly it was just a throwaway comment. And she also said it in 2013, which was 10 years ago, long before we were having the kinds of conversations we are now about gender. So it's an instance of applying the standards of the present to the past. Then there was a Zach Galifianakis interview. You know that show he does?
I hate it.
Oh, I think it's funny sometimes, called
Where he
Between Two Ferns.
Yeah, and he kind of like roasts them, sort of.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable.
I didn't realise, maybe I did, that it's all scripted, as in his bits and their bits.
Yeah, it's sort of like Hard Chat with Tom Gleeson.
Yeah.
Except that wasn't scripted.
Yeah. So she had banter. Jennifer Lawrence has banter with Zach Galifianakis. And one of her lines was...
So you played in a movie called The Hunger Games.
Yeah, isn't that your life story?
You shouldn't say that. That's off-putting.
You should be off-putting because you're fat.
People went after her for that, for fat shaming Zach Galifianakis.
Even though it's scripted.
He wrote it,
Okay.
He wrote that line.
Yeah.
And just before that line, he had called her ugly.
Okay. And that's the whole idea, is that he's roasting her and then she roasts him right back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In an interview with Viola Davis in 2022, Lawrence said of her role as Katniss Everdeen in Hunger Games, "Nobody has ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie."
I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie.
Yeah. Everyone lost their shit. Jessie, I'm going to show you one of the tweets in response to that absurd claim that very much upset people.
All right, this tweet reads, Lawrence is apparently so self-obsessed that she forgets a ton of other women were cast as female leads in action films. Linda Hamilton, hello. Sigourney Weaver, Angelina Jolie, Halle Berry, Uma Thurman, and the ladies of Kill Bill. Death Proof cast. Lawrence is annoying. I don't know. When I think of action films, I do think of male leads. Like, I think I can see the point that Jennifer Lawrence is making.
Unsurprisingly, the part that went viral, so that line that she said, was lacking context. And one fan stood up for her and said, everyone's dragging Jennifer Lawrence for this, but it's pretty clear she's sharing with great derision what was told to her and her team by studio executives.
Yeah, right.
Not what she thought at the time. So literally after she says the line.
I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. We were told. Girls and boys can both identify with a male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead.
Oh, absolutely.
And it just makes me so happy every single time I see a movie come out that just blows through every single one of those beliefs and proves that it is just a lie.
That's how it went. So we
cut a quote.
We cut that. She ended up apologising and said, it was my blunder, it came out wrong, I had nerves, talking to a living legend. She was talking to Viola Davis.
Viola Davis does seem too famous to be interviewing other people about their fame.
No, it's this celebrity thing where celebrities interview celebrities. I don't know. It's everywhere.
I don't know. If I was Viola Davis, like, I'm trying to think of like the most famous person in the world right now. It's like Taylor Swift sitting down to interview like
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. It's like, what? No, you're too famous. You
You're
should
too
be being
busy.
interviewed.
Ironically, in that same interview, Lawrence had said how worried she gets about press interviews because she seems to always say the wrong thing.
Yes.
She said, for my experience, the biggest hindrance to my craft has been press doing interviews. Every time I do an interview, I just think, I can't do this to myself again. You sit down, you talk for an hour, you have no idea what they're going to use, you don't know what's going to be in context, and I just know I'm going to sound stupid. It's not going to be as articulate as it is in my mind.
I'm self-aware.
And that seems to be a common theme. In 2017, she told The Hollywood Reporter about how she was acutely aware that people were going to get sick of her, and she admitted the negativity had made her deeply insecure in herself and her acting abilities. And she said she cringed at her own behaviour when she was younger on press tours. She said, I would get so nervous. I was 21 going through world press tours, and it's just embarrassing. You don't want to see yourself at 21 being ridiculous.
No, sometimes I get my memories come up in my Facebook statuses. I don't need that.
No.
I'm very, very embarrassed.
She then disappeared. And when she came back, which was to do Don't Look Up, which I loved.
Great film with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Timothy Chalamet. She said she resolved to be the least annoying person in the room and was scared that the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio and Meryl Streep would find her irritating. And it's like, Leonardo DiCaprio sounds really annoying. He plays like pranks on people and stuff.
Oh, I forgot about it. He's such a prankster.
He's like a little boy. And she was worried about being annoying.
And she's getting called annoying.
Yeah.
He makes fart jokes. He's an adult.
He made fart jokes like during a press interview for Don't Look Up. While she was trying to talk about it.
He did, and we wonder why he dates the young models, and it's because they still laugh.
How sad that Jennifer Lawrence has to feel insecure.
Oh, honey.
Her interviews now are so different to what they were years ago, and she's clearly trying to ensure that her personality or what she says doesn't get in the way of her work. But what we've really seen here is someone who has ultimately had to mute themselves most parts of their personality in order not to upset the misogynistic society in which we live. Jess, Jessie, it's time for charges and sentences.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go first?
Jessie, my charge.
Yes.
Not saying the perfect, most nuanced thing in every circumstance for all of time since she was in her early 20s. That is her crime.
Criminal woman.
Naughty, naughty.
That is guilty.
Guilty as charged. Sentence. Nothing.
Oh.
This woman is now riddled with shame and self-doubt and the embarrassment of being classified as annoying when she was simply being herself. Jessie, do you remember what we used to get called when we were at school and being bullied?
Yes, annoying.
Annoying.
We wrote a song, and there was a great song. We were about in year 9, and it was called The Best of You.
The Best of You.
There was a song called The Best of You by the Foo Fighters. Great song. Great song. And you and I, on the bus one day, rewrote it to make it about the smell of poo. And it was so funny. And we were crying. And everyone said, "You're so annoying. That's just an annoying thing to do." We went, you misunderstand. You think it's annoying. It's actually very funny.
It's actually funny.
And it was a way to tear you down.
To keep you in your little box.
Yep. And to stop writing songs.
As soon as you try to do anything.
Yes.
As soon as you go
Stick your neck out.
Yeah, stick your neck out. People go, it's a bit annoying.
It's a bit annoying, you with your voice and your thoughts and your talking.
And your little quirks.
And your little quirks. Don't like it.
Sorry, people think you're funny? No.
I personally find you annoying.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Oh, women aren't funny." Well, you called me annoying when I wrote a song about farts. Okay, when it was actually hilarious.
And the other thing is that people would say, you're annoying. And then you'd say, what is it specifically?
Yes, give me some feedback and I'll work on it.
And they can't. It's too vague. It's just, it's
your general vibe.
It's you.
And you
You're
should never
annoying.
give people feedback unless you have specific examples so that they can work on it.
No. And so I have a lot of empathy for Jennifer Lawrence.
For annoying women.
Because I was called annoying at high school and that broke me. To be called annoying on the world stage.
Ouch.
By so many strangers. And
you start to see it.
Yeah.
And you go, I know I'm annoying. I annoy myself. I'm sick of myself.
So I really feel for Jennifer Lawrence and I've got no sentence.
All right.
don't.
Well, I do.
Okay.
My charge is falling and not breaking anything.
Okay, you're still hung up on this.
I'm on the falling because I think that the fact she fell, I think you end up getting a lot of resentment from people who have fallen and broken things. And when I broke my leg, I got a lot of messages from people. And what I discovered is that a fall is a dangerous thing for people at any age, right? Someone says, I was walking to put my bin out. I twisted my ankle and now I have 4 screws, 8 pins and
no teeth.
And my foot's attached to my nose. And I'm like, that's a mess.
That's more than I thought. Yeah.
And the thing about those people is that when they see Jennifer Lawrence fall.
Have a pretty fall,
they go, no. It's not how it worked for me. That's not a proper fall.
I've never had a pretty fall. It ends in bruises and cuts and things that won't heal. And
yes.
There's oozing and there's a lot.
And for those of us who have had a real fall, we do feel triggered by your pretty fall. And while some people might call it attention seeking and so on, you don't get called that when you really hurt yourself. So what I think Jennifer Lawrence needs to do in order to up the likability scale is probably fall and break something.
Oh,
I do.
come on
No,
now.
I do. Because people feel bad for someone in a boot.
Okay.
And someone on crutches. If we're going to fall, go 100%. And maybe it is a publicity. So I don't have an issue with it being for attention, but I'm going to need a bone to break. What do I want to break? Because an ankle is complicated. A knee?
Can you break your knee? Shatter.
Oh, maybe. Because I broke my tibia. I reckon a tibia break would be fine.
So you're willing this woman
to break a leg.
To literally break a leg. Because
See, I think
why?
that, okay, because falling isn't relatable unless you hurt yourself.
Okay. So she's not allowed to do pretty falls?
No. And that's what annoyed
That's the
people is that
crime.
they
Okay.
felt convoluted. But once you really hurt yourself, no one can accuse you of doing it for attention. And it ceases to be embarrassing because it's an emergency and people need to hustle.
Yeah.
If she broke her tibia at the Oscars or the Golden
When
Globes
she was
or
going
whatever,
up the stairs,
Oh
the
my God.
person giving the award would have had to say, dial
911. Immediately, there's a fracture. Oh my
and
God.
then can you imagine in that room somebody who plays a TV doctor would be like, I'm a doctor. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you're not. You're on ER. And
Yes.
that's not the same.
Oh, Grey's Anatomy. And I think wouldn't be bad just for the bone to be protruding a little bit, just for the visuals.
For the visuals,
For the visuals. And, then go
even
into
just
surgery.
just to have it blurred out on
Yes.
TV and in the
Yes,
photos.
exactly right. It would look really dramatic. And people would feel a lot sorry for her, which is what I think she's in need of.
Yeah, okay.
I want that for her. I don't want her to break a leg for the pain, but just for her personal image, I think it helps.
We haven't wished a literal fracture
Broken leg.
on anybody yet,
Yeah,
but you know, that's the
I
thing
think it
about
would
the council
validate the
courtroom.
falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, that's all we have time for in the council courtroom today. This show is produced by Talissa Bazaz with audio editing by Thom Lyon. For receipts for this episode, you can go to the twins_thoughts on Instagram. Jessie, you going to post them?
Maybe. I will. I'll post them when I'm ready. And leave us a 5-star review. It helps people find us.
We've had some shade lately.
Have we had some
yeah,
shade?
Sorry.
Don't.
We've had some mean ones.
Aww.
People are upset about Demi.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato sung to a ghost and we're the bad guys?
Yeah, no, they
Get
are.
in and protect us, please. Give us a 5-star review. We would really like that. And keep sending in your lazy girl stories.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy
girl.
To podcast@mamamia.com.au, or you can DM us at The Twins Thoughts. And we love to read them.
We do. We do. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.